Patient has just been declared dead. His pulse has been checked. There is no heartbeat. The family was in the room with him when he passed away.
And we gave the family the time that they needed to grieve, and then we came back in when they said it was okay. And we checked with them if they would like to stay while we do postmortem care. They declined, and they've now left the room.
A lot of policies require postmortem care to be a two-person, a two-nurse job, and that's for the legal matters and implications, and again, making sure that you follow all those rules and that she's able to sign off on what I do and I would sign off on what she does. And it also just helps with the weight bearing and the handling of the patient and making sure that that's done respectfully and with care and dignity. Okay, so we're going to put on a fresh new pair of gloves.
Then we're going to go ahead and check the patient for any jewelry or personal items.
And those will be documented and then placed and handed to the family.
Then next we're going to check the patient for any IVs, drains, lines, things like that, and we're going to go ahead and remove them.
So he's got clear arms.
Everything's removed. We would not remove the IVs, drains, or tubing if the body was required to get an autopsy. Most facilities require all tubes to remain in place when being sent for an autopsy.
Again, though, you're going to double check with hospital policies and whatnot before removing and jumping to that conclusion.
So we would go ahead and do hair care for the patient if they needed to just be groomed up and just look a little more presentable. So go ahead and comb the hair.
And this would be something that you could offer for the family's assistance with if they do wish to have some type of involvement. So make sure that that's all good and clear.
And then we're going to go ahead and after all that's done, start to wash the patient.
So we're going to make sure that his eyes are closed too, which they are. Thank you. Just remove this.
Yeah. Turn against you. So we're still going to treat the body with dignity and just remove half his gown, cover him there.
And then we got the washes. So we're going to start with his face up top. Here, I'll do the face. His face has been cleaned, and then we're going to do oral care to make sure that that gets done.
And then we go ahead and clean any soiled areas of the body. Anything needs cleaned.
So obviously this part will vary and whatnot, but make sure that he's all clean and fresh. Pay special attention to any wounds that may be on the body. Those want to be given extra care and make sure that that dressing is changed and that that's fully cleaned. So now we can get a new gown that we're going to put on him.
Remove this, and then while we put that on, we'll remove the old gown.
Okay, should we do the pad?
Yes.
So I'm gonna lift him over onto my side while she has easier access to place the absorbent pads underneath. So we'll bring those in.
Just gonna say these are our absorbent pads. Okay. On that side. Okay. Put some absorbent pads underneath them. Then we go ahead and put them back down on top of them. And then now that he's all cleaned up, we would go ahead and put a second identifier on his lower limb.
And that will stay with him throughout his next leaving of here.
If they did want to come back in the room, we'd go ahead and pull the blanket back up.
And make him more presentable for them to come back in. You can obviously get a new fresh blanket too and whatnot. We could set the bed up right a little more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna kind of make it more presentable for them. So we'll do that. So again, we're making sure his hands are at his sides. He's got his head's fully propped up and his hair is done nicely. So this is all just for cosmetic appeal and whatnot.
If the family does not want to come back into the room, we would prepare the body for the morgue. So we would wrap the wrists with pads and tie them together.
Like in this type of manner, and we're gonna make sure that they're tight, but we don't want marks obviously or lacerations or anything. And then the same thing goes for the feet.
Yeah.
So it's that type of thing, and then we put an ID on top on his chest, and he also has one down at the lower limbs by his toes. So he'd be fully marked. The jewelry is completely off.
If the patient, if the family requested an autopsy, or if the patient required one through the law or other circumstances, they would of course do that at this time. Certain cultures don't believe in autopsy. That's something
You have
we'll
to
look
be
into.
very culturally respective to their wishes and how extensive they want to be, and
so that's definitely something to ask the family. Other things to ask the family, if they want the presence of any spiritual advisors, priests, pastors, anything like that.
And that could be with the patient before the death actually occurs, or for them afterwards, or even just like still in the room. That's completely up to their concern.
And then another important aspect is to assist the family in what they need with questions about funeral planning. If they're not from the area,
Direct them
people
to
to
the
call.
workers and teams and hospitals that you are familiar with that could offer that assistance and whatnot.
Another thing to ask the family about would be organ donation. Again, another culturally sensitive topic. See what the family wants, believes what the patient had wanted before death, and things like that. So some examples of these are Buddhism. They don't believe in the body being handled immediately after death. So maybe talking with the family and taking some time before we perform our postmortem care might be more culturally sensitive to them.
If your patient is a Native American and if you're dealing with a Native American family, you make certain that you speak with the family, because they believe that what is on the body or with the body at the time of death should remain with the body throughout the whole entire process and then be buried with the body.